Welcome to The Last Word, my weekly commentary on life and work in San Antonio and Texas. Big City, Small Town released its 100th episode yesterday, February 21st. That's a significant milestone for the small team that makes this podcast possible each week, and for the sponsors whose support has enabled me to continue my 36-year career as a San Antonio journalist with a front row seat on the city in all its dimensions. I've been a working journalist for 48 years now, starting with my first job as a sports reporter for the Brownsville Herald on the border, and then on to 4 other Texas newspapers and Newsweek magazine, work that's taken me to 60 countries around the world. But here I am now at episode 100, still engaged in what is now the fastest growing city in the United States, the city my family has called home since 1989. I couldn't do it without our sponsors, Weston Urban and Geekdom, where I keep my office and where we broadcast from the Geekdom podcast studio in the Rand building at 110 East Houston Street. Graham Weston was the first person in 2011 to suggest that I follow my retirement as executive editor of the San Antonio Express-News by launching a blog that would allow me to keep my voice in the conversation citywide. At the time, Weston was chairman of the fast-growing tech company Rackspace, which he had helped start in 1998. Weston wanted a news source that focused more on issues and opportunities in the city and less on clickbait and crime reporting. He reasoned that a more thoughtful news source would help his team recruit more talented individuals to move to San Antonio and work at Rackspace. San Antonio, in contrast to Houston and Dallas, was more of a big city that felt like a small town in many ways. Weston told me he had actually protected the domain name Bigcitysmalltown.com if I wanted to use it for my blog. In the end, my wife Monica Mackley and I launched the Rivard Report, reasoning that my name recognition might attract more readers unhappy with the decline of the daily newspaper. Fast forward to my retirement from the report in 2022, which was renamed the San Antonio Report during the pandemic. Podcasts were growing robustly everywhere. I decided to make a local podcast my next venture. It seemed like the best way to keep my voice in the community without starting another enterprise that would require substantial staffing and fundraising. I asked Graham if he still had that Big City, Small Town domain, and he answered yes and gave it to me. So here we are. We've worked to make Big City, Small Town a platform for a diverse range of voices and interests over the first 2 years of broadcasts. Some of our guests have been household names. Others have been individuals largely unknown outside their immediate circles. All have been engaged in interesting or important work, or ideally both. San Antonio may be the fastest growing city in the country, but local media continues to shrink. There are fewer journalists at work in the city now than there were when my family arrived here in 1989. So even a small podcast can make a difference now and merits support. Our recently launched weekly newsletter, Monday Musings, gives me the opportunity to hear from Big City, Small Town audience members, so we invite you to subscribe and to send me your thoughts for future programming. Who would you like to see as a guest? Sign up for the newsletter and let me hear from you. And here's a bonus. Starting very soon, we will begin to promote local businesses, think restaurants, coffee shops, and others, via the newsletter by offering subscribers the opportunity to win gift certificates. It'll be our way of saying thank you for investing your time and energy with Big City, Small Town and Monday Musings, and it will allow us to promote some of the best of San Antonio. Just go to bigcitysmalltown.com, scroll down to the sign-up box, and add your email address. No spam, we promise. That's my last word for week 100. Thanks again, Weston Urban and Geekdom, for your important sponsorship and support. Corey Ames is the producer of Big City, Small Town and the host of his own local podcast, Ensemble Texas, which you should check out. Erica Rempel provides video, and sound editing is by Alfie De La Garza of Sound Crane Studio. We will see you next week.